This is a story of my encounter with a ghost. I lost a friend of mine 4 years ago, and a few weeks later I saw him in my dreams, and he gave me an answer to a question I've been asking other people. Now, before I go into details of this dream, it's important I give you guys a backstory. I had known my friend since secondary school. We met in JSS2 and we were friends for JSS2, JSS3 and SS1 when he left. Although he was not in the same school, we still kept in contact, and even when we went to separate universities, we still kept in contact. We had 2Go, we had Facebook, we had BlackBerry then. So he made other friends that were eventually closer to him than I was, and that was okay. I met some of his new friends and we got to hang out all together as a circle, but he was like the glue to the circle. Another thing to put in mind is the kind of person this my friend is, or was, as the case may be now. Although he went to church, he had a diabolic mindset. Now, this is not to smear his image or anything, but it was what it was. It wasn't like something he was hiding. He had a diabolic mindset, and this diabolic mindset dates back to even the very moment or the very day he and I became friends in JSS2. He had just finished fighting with a friend, and he began to curse, began to swear on his grandfather's grave, swearing that his grandfather's spirit was going to rise and attack the person he had fought with. So that was kind of like the person he grew up to be, the kind of person who sees someone sick and pretty much assumes the person has been attacked by someone, which eventually became his own case. When he fell sick, he assumed or he believed that he was being attacked. He was being attacked by someone. So clearly this continued on till we became adults. That was not a problem to me. It didn't really affect our friendship. We were still cool on a personal level. He was nice, he was funny, he was friendly, and he was a very good friend. He was that kind of friend who was going to take up or stand up for his friends. If there was someone who wanted to fight you or there was someone who offended you, he would be willing to fight for you. Another thing to note is, although he and I were cool, again, he was closer to some of the other friends in the cycle than I was to him. We only knew on a personal level. I did not know beyond him and his friends. All I knew was that he had lost his dad prior to his death, and he was the only child of his family. And at the time of his death, he was with his mom and grandmom. He also mentioned aunties and uncles who lived in Abuja and other states that he would go and visit and stay with them, I guess. So he mentioned aunties and uncles and cousins. So those were, as far as I knew, I'd never met any of them. I'd never spoken to any of them, not his mom, not his uncle, not his aunt. I only knew him personally. Although there were friends, I believe, in the circle who had met these people and had spoken to them on one occasion or another. So when he fell sick, he traveled home. And as I've said before, he assumed the sickness was an attack from one of his relations, I guess. And when he was at home, he revealed to me that, his sickness was due to an attack. Someone was shooting him bullets and razor blades, and the traditional doctor he was seeing at the time was extracting these bullets and razor blades from his system. He sent me a picture of these images of the bullet and the razor blade in the bowl. He also expressed to me how painful the extraction was. And in the course of our conversation, I also expressed to him how I felt about traditional treatment. And I suggested that he went to a hospital, even if it meant we would all have to contribute, which wasn't even a problem. In his defense, he did say that they had gone to a hospital and the hospital claimed that there was nothing wrong with him. So I guess that was the reason why they had to meet the traditional doctor. Unfortunately, during the process of this extraction, they damaged an organ of his. I think it was his kidney, and so he was eventually taken to a hospital. And while he was in the hospital, a group of us decided to contribute for his treatment. Not long before we even made contributions, he passed on. I remember getting the call from one of our friends in the cycle crying on the phone, and he didn't even need to say much before I knew what had happened. And I just shut down. I didn't cry. I didn't want to cry. I just didn't want to cry. I had to go to work, and at the time I was teaching, so I didn't want to go to these students and begin to cry in front of them. So that was something I didn't want to do. It took me about 3 to 4 days before I was even able to make a Facebook post regarding his death. Although some of us in the circle talked about going to visit, we had also learned that he had been buried pretty much that same day he died, even though he was a Muslim. But so clearly there wasn't any funeral to look forward to, and basically all that was left was to heal and move on, I guess. That was what I thought. Until I started receiving phone calls from a strange number that turned out to be his mother. Now, I think this is where the entire story begins. So when the mom kept calling, I just wasn't ready to pick. I felt like I wasn't ready to take the call. I didn't know what the conversation was going to look like. I had never spoken to her before. I had never seen her before. She may have heard of me as I have heard of her, but we didn't have any relationship. But I knew she had been reaching out to the other people, and I've been asking some of our other friends, how is she doing, hope she's fine, and all of that. When she kept calling, I wasn't sure what to say and how to go about it. Again, I did not want to cry. This is a woman who had lost her husband and had lost her only child. So I wasn't very sure how this conversation was going to go. And so I was reaching out to some of my friends. I was asking them what I should do, what I should say. And a lot of them thought maybe she wanted to thank me for the contribution, but still, I'm cool. I don't need to be thanked for that. So, and another thing I also needed to mention is, at the time of his death, I may have expressed myself. I may have over-expressed myself to some of our friends that I was unhappy with the family and I blamed the family for what happened to him. That kind of a thing. I was angry, and pretty much I may have said it out, and I thought maybe one of them had gone to tell her, and maybe that was why she was calling. So that was part of the reason why I was also refusing to take this woman's call, because I wasn't sure what she was calling for. I didn't know what she was calling for. Maybe someone had told her, maybe she wanted to explain, maybe she wanted to thank me. I don't know, whatever it was just difficult, but I knew that I wasn't ready to speak to her. And over time, I would speak to some people. I was asking friends, I was asking my mom, I was asking my boss at work, like, should I speak to her, should I talk to her, like, I don't know what to say. And a lot of them were giving me advice on what to do and what not to do. Some said speak to her, some said you don't have to. And eventually I decided that I was going to call her when I was ready. I was going to call her. As a writer myself, I had even written everything I was going to say to her. I was prepared to listen to her. I was prepared to apologize. I was prepared to cry. I was ready. I needed a space. I needed to be in the right mind. And I didn't want to be angry too. Like I said, I was angry at the family. I didn't know who the family is, but I blamed them in my head. It's their fault. They should have taken him to the hospital. So that was the kind of thing. So I didn't want that kind of expression to come out when I'm speaking with this woman. So I was prepared. I was getting ready to talk to her. During this preparation, she still kept on calling. She kept on calling to the point it became a little uncomfortable. Like, I'm not picking your calls. I don't think you should continue calling. But I had plans to reach out to her at my own time and hopefully explain everything to her and tell her why I wasn't picking and why I wasn't ready. So the day I decided I was going to speak to her, I'd written everything, had prepared my mind, I'd bought enough recharge card, I was ready to speak with this woman. And that was the day I had a dream. The night before the day I was supposed to speak with her was the night I had the dream. And in that dream, I saw my friend. We were walking down the road from a hotel I usually frequent in Port Harcourt then. At the time I was in the house having this dream, but in the dream we're in my favorite hotel environment. So we're on the roadside. Even when he was alive, he didn't even come to that hotel. So we're walking on the road, we're talking in this dream. And then somewhere where I stopped, I was like, okay, what's up? Your mom has been calling. Your mom has been reaching out, and I want to call her tomorrow, but I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I was trying to ask him what I could do. And he said, I'm not sending now. And that's how he would have spoken in person too. He was always quite sarcastic and funny. But he was like, I'm not sending now, I'm not send you work. And immediately he said that, he crossed the road to the other side of the road to, I don't know, I blacked out. He just crossed the road. And when I woke up, it didn't make sense to me. I always thought when this kind of situation happened, he would have encouraged me to speak to her and tell her things, tell her give her a message. That was something I would have thought would have happened, and that's what we saw in movies. But apparently that was not the case, which made it very, very unique for me. And when morning came, I did not call this woman. I refused to call this woman. I called my friend and I told him the dream I had. I was not someone to believe in ghosts. I didn't believe ghosts appear in people's dream. And even if you saw someone who had died in your dream, as long as they didn't give you an information that was vital to your reality, that is not an encounter. Which is why I think this might be an encounter. And that was why when Okey's girlfriend made the post about how Okey had given her the password to his Super Eye account, many people were doubting her, but I kind of believed her. When you encounter a ghost in your dream, they must have given you an information that was vital to your reality. If you see them and you play with them and nothing was said, nothing was told, nothing was done, nothing was revealed, then it wasn't so much of an encounter, it was just a dream. But when you meet someone that you know who have passed on and they tell you something in your dream that is vital to your reality, that is an encounter to me. And that was why I think this was an encounter. When I asked him what to do with this phone call with his mom, he told me, "I'll not send you." And that was it. That was the answer I was looking for. Now, currently looking back, I don't regret not taking a call. Apparently those friends in the circle who were in communication with her up to this day have been complaining about certain things that I won't say here. And it kind of made me feel like, wow, I guess I did the right thing. I guess my friend kind of knew what was coming and told me I didn't have to take a call. She will be fine. She did not need a relationship with me to be fine. She will be fine. She will be good. She has brothers, she has relations, she has her own mother alive, so she was going to be fine. And she was also equally young. She wasn't like an old woman, so she was going to be fine. That was just it. That was my experience with seeing a ghost in my dream. So guys, that's the story. That's it. I hope I did not bore you. I'm just trying out this new setup. Hopefully over time it will change. I plan on creating more content on this platform here in a different style, I guess. Hopefully not one where I'm sitting and just talking, but basically something a lot better, I hope.